Hello, everyone. I'm going to be reviewing the second single off of Swedish artist Jonna Lee's upcoming new album, Remember the Future. This song is called Somebody. There's a space in there, leaving a little bit more room for interpretation, which I think is actually quite clever. I have a lot of exciting thoughts about this track because it got me like really intrigued, and it was one of those songs, like most of Yona's music, if you're familiar, it takes a few listens to really get its footing in your brain. It's definitely hard to remember the lyrics or the melody because everything is a little bit jumbled and a little bit chaotic in structure. This is following, of course, Open Sea, which came out in February, which was the lead single. Now, we do also have a music video that came out for this song. Somebody, I think, is a step in the right direction for the scope of this record. I think Open Sea was just sort of like this wet tease. Like, it had elements of intrigue, but I was a little bit I don't know, I was left with like a feeling of like wanting more just because I didn't really feel like it was a song I was going to be listening to a whole lot repetitively. But this song seems to take that sort of exotic, adventurous feel and I think just amplify it, but also introduce a little bit more of, I think, classic Jonas piercing choruses and like intriguing production work. And of course, getting her, vocalizations kind of morphed into the background in an ethereal way. I think she pulls off a really interesting sonic treat here. I'll talk about the lyrics because there is so much to talk about with that, but I will just say sonically and visually, this song feels like it's setting foot on like a new territory, like terra firma, like I finally found solid land. We've landed from our spaceship and we're now on this new foreign planet. And in the video, she's got strapped to her back a little baby plant. Plant baby, and I think it's so cute just for some reason. This plant is going on a journey, and it's sort of like, if we were going to Mars and we were going to colonize and introduce new species, we would need to keep them in quarantine, and we would need to have them keep them really safe because we are seeding on a new planet. And if you listen to the lyrics, this always kind of ties into the theme that I think is going to be prevalent on this record, which is exploring a new world and kind of distancing ourselves from everything we once thought was familiar. And we remember the good times, leaving splendor at all times. See the sun on blue new sky. Wave our memories goodbye with the end of humankind. Make it rain on the blue sky. The implication of this sort of post-apocalyptic world where, either physically or metaphorically, we are experiencing a new shift, a new reality, and setting foot for the first time. But to do so, we are sort of having to let go of a lot of the past. The title of this record, which is Remember the Future, which I think is very clever, is alluding to time and sort of dislocating ourselves from it. So I'm really intrigued. I really think that this is going to be Jonna Lee's sort of most esoteric record in terms of her lyrics. Like, I know her lyrics have always been very esoteric, but at the same time, they've also felt like also very brutally like honest about her own life. And I think that this record is going to want to just constantly be aiming for this sort of higher plane of existence. And it's very spiritual in my interpretation. We've got this sort of like what looks like the Tin Man from The Wizard of Oz, this like robot character. Maybe this is like the native of this new land that we're introducing ourselves to, or maybe it's like a representation of us, again, setting foot on a new planet. And we have very basic motor skills, motor function, and very basic mobility because we don't know how to interact with this reality yet beyond what a basic robot could do. I'm kind of interpreting it both ways. Either way, the visuals are stunning. There's one lyric that particularly hits home where she sings or sort of cries out at you a little bit in a way. Why won't you let me talk about the sadness of tomorrow? Oh my gosh, like, boy, did that sink like a stone for me. And she ends the song on that note as well with that lyric. And as I was listening to this song, and it just the title "Remember the Future," I can't help but think about like how much this album is really just about time and understanding how to kind of manipulate it, but also to reconcile all of your past, like all of the crazy stuff that's in your brain, and then try and like construe a future that is not terrifying. Because in my experience right now, it's like it's really, really tough when I think about the future to be super hopeful or to be super optimistic about it. And there is this feeling of like decay over time that like the fact that we're constantly progressing on our lives. This is going to get kind of morbid. I'm sorry. But I mean, this song just, I had to with the lyrics, I had to go there. I get this feeling of like, this like every moment we're just getting closer to death. Like we were born and that was like the actual moment of like life. And then from that moment on, we're just constantly slowly decaying. Even though, I mean, I guess it's more because I just recently turned 25. And I remember reading somewhere, like in some article or something, that like 25 is when your body is like 100% mature and your brain and everything. And from there on, it's just like a slow downward spiral. And I was just like, oh my God, like being a 26-year-old, like I can't help but think these things. And I'm just like, oh, it's just going to get worse and worse. I can't believe I'm saying that with a smile on my face, because that is the most depressing and, you know, morbid way to think about life. And it's why I need to go to therapy, because I'm like really struggling with that mentality. But at the same time, it's really validating to hear that talked about in lyrics, to hear that in a song. The melancholy is there, which I'm always in love with. So I totally empathize with that lyric. It's like it's not overly dark. It's brutally honest. It's like, isn't the future kind of really sad? Because it's always going to be closer to death than where we are currently, you know? That's like kind of really tragic. Like, I don't know. It's like a tragedy that's slowly getting more tragic over time. I'm sorry. I hope I didn't just ruin anyone's day. Anyway, so thank you for subscribe to my channel. La la. I'm gonna review a Taylor Swift song now. I think I need to. That got pretty heavy. I'm reviewing 2 songs back to back, and these 2 songs could not be any more different. Whew. But yes, Jonna, I really appreciate these hard-hitting, honest lyrics that can be quite dire. But, you know, the song, doesn't it sound, I mean, it sounds so mysterious. It doesn't sound hopeful, and it doesn't sound diabolical at all. It just is a sound, and it sounds exotic. And I don't know how else to say it. Like, she is a master at this kind of thing. And her longtime friend and collaborator, TRST, is similar. Like, his music is like similar. And it's just like, I don't know if I feel happy. I don't know if I feel sad from this music. I just feel everything. I just feel it. I feel it all bundled up together. And yeah, I'm not gonna just, this song just like had a lot of blood rush to my head. This song was just like a huge wake up call for me. I don't know. And it got me thinking a lot about time. So anyway, I want to know what your thoughts on this song are. I love the visuals in the video, the hypnotic imagery. I remember when she was going on tour, and I did see her last August, she was already playing a bit with the sort of mannequins and the like robotic kind of hypnotizing imagery. So there is an element of like what I would consider to be like the idea of being hypnotized as a species by like some sort of concept that is like religion or something that we kind of are a slave to, at least in the early years of our civilization. And maybe that's where she's going with that, but you know, I don't really need to know for sure. Kind of like it being all a mystery. So that's where I'm at right now with this song. I'm sure I'll have more thoughts on it when I review the full album. So can't wait for that. But this is definitely getting me a lot more excited. I mean, I was always excited because it's Jonna. I'm just really anxiously excited for anything she's going to put out. But Open Sea didn't quite have the replay factor for me that I think this song has. I just think that this song, it reminds me a little bit of Chasing Kites because of the melody and the chorus and the production. It just feels a little bit more anthemic. And yet at the same time, it's so much more surreal. So it's ticking all the boxes. Let me know what you thought in the comments. I hope you enjoyed this video. Hope it didn't get too morbid. But, you know, that's what it is. Hope you all have a wonderful, blessed day. Bye.